Boyfriend 26M, left me 22F on the road with broken leg, unable to get up. Now he says he misses me. On the 6th of October, my partner and I attended a medical ball that my workplace hosted. For some reference, I am a registered nurse, and he is completing an electrical trade and an engineering degree. We had been on the rocks for a while, and the night before the ball we had gotten into quite a big fight. We'd fight about where our lives were taking us. He wanted to settle down in our small hometown, and I had interests in moving away. Nonetheless, I was willing to settle down with him. However, in the end, it seemed like I was giving up a lot more of my future to suit his desires. I'd travel 100 kilometers to see him most of the time, but he'd complain that an hour was too long to drive to see me. He'd also do things like subscribe to OnlyFans accounts just to see my reaction. The night of the ball, the vibe was off. Despite me trying to introduce him to some of my work colleagues, or getting him to dance with me, all he wanted to do was sit at the table and scroll through Facebook. He would often just go outside and talk to his friends on the phone. When we were in the Uber, making our way back to my place, we had gotten into another argument, due to me questioning why he came to the ball, if his intentions were to sit outside and barely speak to me. He didn't like being questioned. He shut down my feelings. As we arrived back at my house, he decided to end things with me. He said it was due to us living 100 kilometers away from each other, and he said that we weren't compatible. At the time, this took me by surprise, and me being me, I started crying. He then proceeded to walk down the street, and I ran after him to try and change his mind. As I'd done this, he also sprinted ahead. I was wearing heels at the time, and I was running that fast my legs couldn't keep up with the speed I was going, so I fell over quite hard. I could not get back up as my right knee and lower leg hurt too much. I was crying and screaming in pain that I needed help, and he just left me there. My phone was dead at this point, so I waited crying and yelling in agony until someone walked by and called me an ambulance. It turns out that I had a fractured tibia, and I had completely torn my meniscus and PCL, strongest ligament in the knee. Fast forward 2 months, and I have now had a knee reconstruction, and am unable to weight bear for 6 to 10 weeks. He has recently messaged me saying how much he misses me, and how incomplete his life feels without me. He didn't realize I had broken my leg and messed up the inside of my knee. However, I don't think that's any excuse. Personally, I think if he cared about me, or had any human decency, he wouldn't have left me crying in the middle of the road, unable to get up. I'm just looking for some advice for what I should do. Update. Thank you for all the comments. A few questions I've seen raised here. In the message I received from him on Saturday, he said how he missed me and his life was incomplete without me. He then went on to say he has next to no will to live and isn't doing well. I guess this has pulled on my emotional strings a little. Did he know afterwards about the damage caused to my leg? Yes, he did. The hospital called him as he was my emergency contact. He didn't answer, and they left a voicemail. The following day, he tried to contact me. He explained that in the moment he couldn't have cared less what happened to me, but he felt bad for having that thought. He then had the audacity to ask me to be friends, as he still generally cared about me. Putting this into writing actually sounds ridiculous. I currently am engaging in psychotherapy. After being raised by a narcissist, I often find it difficult to leave someone on my own accord. I am working on it though. For my entire life, I've been made to feel like I'm the problem, or I'm the one who should apologize and welcome people back into my life with open arms, and after living with a narcissist for 21 years of my life excluding. This year, as I moved out of home, it is hard to break the cycle. My ex-partner would say he'd change and be the perfect boyfriend for a while, until things would get back into their normal shitty cycle, and toward the end he would become more aggressive, especially when he drank alcohol, which was nearly on the daily. I think by putting up this post and others here confirming my own thoughts, I don't feel like a bad person for keeping him out of my life. I'm still going to remain engaged in therapy, as I do have a lot of issues regarding my own self-respect, and realistically, even feeling bad for the guy shows how little regard I have for myself. All the while, I have a lot of physiotherapy to do, but the worst part is, I have so much time to just sit with my own thoughts while I'm practically immobilized, and I always try to see his side of things. I wish I didn't do this as much as I do.